your girl, Miss Toni, and I am in week 21 of my pregnancy journey. I just turned 21 weeks today, very excited, and now the baby is the size of a banana. So y'all know I love my fruit, so I'm sticking to my fruit just to know the growth week by week. That means the baby's about 10.5 ounces and about 12 inches long. So it's a big baby now, at least a long baby. Probably still really lean, but I'll show you guys my stomach just to show my little progress. Not much, but a little something. I know I keep saying a little something, but like y'all can see that bump. Don't front on me. I probably will pop in maybe another couple of weeks or so. So I'll eventually have some actual really big belly to show, hopefully. But now the baby is at a point where he or she can actually start to taste the food that I'm eating, which is really cool. I don't know if it's true, but there is some data that shows that what the baby is exposed to when they're in utero, they end up liking later in life. So they develop an affinity for it. My mom swears by this, y'all. She does. There were 3 of us, and with me, she actually ate everything, gained a lot of weight, and I have a pretty broad palate. So I love trying foods from different countries and different just types of cuisines. My favorite is seafood, absolutely, hands down, see any seafood, which is hard because when you're pregnant, you have to be careful. You can't just eat any old seafood that you typically would have eaten before. So I had to be careful of, like, certain tunas or certain whitefish. My husband actually is really good about remembering whether I can have like farm raised versus Atlantic coast fish, and so I never remember, but he does, and he's the one that will shop for the seafood so I don't get the wrong one, and he gets the one that I actually can consume when I'm pregnant. You got to stay away from those rarer fish, but there are some general everyday ones you can still eat, your trout, your salmon, a lot of those. So I still get my fish on, just not like I usually do. And then I don't have as much shellfish as I do when I'm not pregnant, although I love crab and lobster and all that. I do limit it when I'm pregnant. I still eat shrimp, but I got to make sure it's cooked. Really, it's just all about making sure your food is fully cooked because you don't want to have any bacteria. And of course, fish is known to have bacteria because of the oceans or the lakes where it comes from. And so you just got to be a little bit more careful. So I still get my fish on, y'all, but just more of a limited quantity. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So my mom swears that because she ate a lot of seafood when she was pregnant with me and a lot of other flavors and different types of food, but that's the reason why I eat everything. When I was a kid, I was open to always trying new foods whenever she would cook something new and, put it on my plate, while my sister was busy putting her food in the trash can or hiding it behind the trash can, pissing my mom off, boy, because she would find it days later on trash day, and she always knew it was my sister. So my sister's way more picky, and she was the second kid. And then my brother, he was definitely the pickiest. So my mom gained less weight with him because she ate less with him, and he came out the pickiest. I mean, growing up, this dude, probably still now, he's in his 30s and probably eats 3 different meals and that's it. Like, he's got a very kind of a limited palate. And so I don't know, again, if it's true, but my mom swears by it. So I make sure that when I'm pregnant that I eat healthy foods. I eat a little bit of everything. So I make sure I told you I love fruit when I'm pregnant, and I love smoothies that have a mixture of fruit and vegetables. So I'll put spinach or kale or something mixed in with some of my fruit. And so I do it because I love it. It just tastes good. But I also want to expose the baby to those things so it's not so hard when they're toddlers and you're trying to introduce these vegetables to them and they're throwing it back at you because they don't like the way it tastes. So it's a trial and error thing. It could be different with everybody, but I actually believe it's true. So I mentioned weight gain just because my mom, I think she gained a lot of weight with me. She gained like 10 less pounds with my sister, and then even 10 fewer pounds with my brother. And so I think back in the day, they used to tell women, you eating for 2, you got to make sure you eat extra, get extra. And it was really encouraged. Whereas now your doctor will tell you, you are not eating for 2. Like, you just need a couple hundred extra calories a day, and that's it. That could be like a snack. And so for me, food is actually hard when I'm pregnant, which is like, oh, first world problems, right? But really, it's for me, it's like I'm hungry because I got a baby growing inside of me with hunger pains, but I can't eat. I can't consume quantities because then I feel so nauseous right afterwards. I feel like so full and gassy and just uncomfortable. And it doesn't matter. I could take a walk immediately after eating. That helps sometimes. I told y'all I pop my Tums. That helps sometimes. But I hate having to do that after every meal. Like, who wants to deal with that all day, every day? So I'm listening to my doctor. She told me you really have to eat less in each meal, but eat more frequently throughout the day. And for me, I just don't think of eating all day. I just don't. Like, I got a lot going on with work and school and kids and homeschool, all that. We still quarantining, so I just don't think of eating all day. Honestly, when I'm home with the girls, like I feel like I'm feeding them all day. But it's, it's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It's, cut up some fruit and some cheese with them. So my doctor told me to get into that mindset. Like, what you feed your kids, these small meals throughout the course of the day, you need to be doing the same thing with yourself. And I'm like, okay, I think of breakfast because I love breakfast. And I don't even eat a big breakfast every day, but I love, for my whole life, not even pregnant, I just eat a bowl of cereal every day. And with my milk and my cereal, and then I have a piece of fruit, that gets me topped off. That just gets me the energy to start the day. I'm not a coffee drinker, so it's not like I had to cut that habit when I got pregnant, but I have my breakfast every morning. I'm working, doing everything all day, and then lunchtime, sometimes I forget to eat. It's 1 o'clock and I'm like, oh, I gotta either make some lunch, or if I meal prepped the night before, then I gotta reheat that real quick. Today I had a conference for work, and so I was working over the lunch hour, so my job actually sent meals to our houses, but I forgot to order mine until like 1:30, so I ate late. So I just don't think about it. And then dinner, my husband is on top of dinner. Like, he will make sure that we have a plan for dinner before he even arrives home. And so I either have that meal cooked already, or he'll pick up something, or he'll cook. He's a fantastic cook, y'all. And so he'll sometimes prep the kids' meals, and then I'll cook our meals because they don't always eat what we eat. Little kids don't always eat grown-up food. And so we'll make them something separate. But the point is, I just don't always think of food other than like those 3 times of the day. I do think of breakfast because I'm really hungry when I wake up, pregnant or not. I do think of lunch because I'm typically working and I have that hunger, like, oh, I need that energy for the rest of this day, or I need to eat right now. And then dinner, because my husband always reminds me, I think before I got married, I rarely ate dinner, but I eat dinner regularly now. But it's those 3 meals that I think of. And so now she's telling me, well, scratch those, maybe keep your breakfast one, but then you need to have something in between the breakfast and the lunch. And then you need to have a smaller lunch. And then you need to have something between the lunch and the dinner, and maybe 2 things. And then have your dinner. And after your dinner, you should have something, maybe an hour later. If it's, sometimes I told y'all, I'll have my smoothies at night. I just blend them in my Ninja. And so I'll have that kind of as my dessert for the night. So I'm working on it, y'all. It's just, believe it or not, it's not easy because I feel like I'm doing more work and putting in more effort just to have something to eat all the time. And sometimes it's small, like trail mix, or again, some type of fruit or something that I have handy, a banana or something. So sometimes it's just easy to pick up something, but other times it just takes effort to think about something that's not going to make me too full so that I'm not able to enjoy my next meal, but also something that's not going to make me feel like ugh for the rest of the afternoons. So that's just my little issue, my little pregnancy thing. I've had this all 3 times with all 3 of these babies, where I guess I forget about it because I remember my doctor told me this the last time when I was struggling with this. One big difference though is that I can actually hit the treadmill this pregnancy, and I couldn't the first 2. I would get these awful cramps. Like, I'll be on the treadmill for a minute and a half and get these terrible cramps. Whereas now I know I take it easy, so I'm not, going, 3 miles per hour. I'll go, maybe 2, maybe 1.8 or something. So it's more of a jog as opposed to an actual run. And I just do that for an hour, keep it steady. I'll get off and on and lift just like a lightweight. And that's it. I keep it light. And so I think because of that, I'm able to maintain and still work out this pregnancy where I couldn't the first two. So that helps when you feel that fullness or that gassiness. It really does help to relieve some of that pressure and get you feeling back to normal. So I mentioned weight gain. I think my mom had gained a lot with me, and then she gained 10 pounds fewer with my sister, and then another 10 pounds less with my brother. So I want to know from you, what have you gained? Some women don't like to talk about it, and I understand. Y'all gonna hate me. With my first pregnancy with Kennedy, I only gained 18 pounds. So much so that my doctor was on my head like, you need to gain more weight. And I just told y'all my whole eating issue, why I couldn't gain more weight. So about the end of the third trimester, that last like 6 weeks, is when I put on that weight to get me to the 18 pounds. With Cameron, I gained probably 22 pounds. So I just gained a little bit more with her, which it wasn't much, but I did think like, oh, when she's born, maybe she'll be a little bit bigger. And she was the same exact size as Kennedy. She was 7 pounds, 1 ounce. And she was actually the same exact height as Kennedy. So they both were 20 inches long. So yeah, just my little 4 or 5 extra pounds didn't amount to any difference in the size once the baby was born. But yeah, like I said, I had learned my lesson that second time around about how to like meal plan better throughout the pregnancy, so that I can gain the weight. And so, but then I gained the weight in the second trimester that I didn't gain that time until the end of the third trimester with the first baby. But with Cammie, I gained it in the second trimester. And I remember this appointment that I had with the same OB, same doctor. And she's like, what are you eating? Like, what's going on? You gained a lot of weight this time in my second trimester. So she wasn't saying like, you gained too much weight this pregnancy. She was saying, since the last time I saw you, you put on a lot of pounds. And I'm like, you're the one who told me how to do it. Like, you were on me last time, yelling at me, telling me to gain more weight with the first baby. And now in that second trimester, she was telling me, well, you gained it too fast. So don't listen to your OB. Like, do what feels good for you. Do what feels healthy for you. Of course, you got to gain that weight for that, because you're going to have natural gains, whether it's your boobs or just water weight. Like, you're going to have that natural gain. You definitely want to make sure you're getting the right nutrients for the baby. You're taking your prenatal vitamins, and you're eating the right foods so that the baby can grow. Babies need protein, and they need fat, carbs. So those are basically their top macronutrients. And then they, of course, need tons of micronutrients. And so they'll get that from your prenatal vitamins. They'll get that from all the other foods that you eat, even some of the snacks that you eat, whether it's a fruit snack or French fries. I do love my French fries. And I told y'all I got an air fryer that I'm addicted to, and I love eating my fries in there. And the nice thing is you just spray a little bit of olive oil and that's it. You don't get all the saturated oils that you usually would have consumed if you went to McDonald's for their fries. Even though their fries are bomb. My favorite are probably Wendy's, and I would put McDonald's second. They got some good fries. You get them boys fresh. Whew. Salted, the best. But yeah, I'm eating healthier with this air fryer, and so it's really cool to have that option to be able to still have the crispy fried taste, even though you don't have all that saturated fat and oil. So yeah, I haven't given up my French fries. So last thing before I go, we're finally doing our maternity pictures. I know I told y'all that last week. I ordered a dress, and y'all probably know with quarantine and COVID and everything going on that the U.S. Postal Mail Service has been significantly delayed. And so I got a dress made. If it actually shows up, then y'all will see it in the maternity pictures. But I got a dress made on Etsy. Y'all know I told y'all I'm an Etsy shopper. And I had a woman make it. I sent her my measurements. I told her, I want to extend this part and shorten this part and less tulle here. And she made it to my specifications. And she shipped it out 2-day priority mail. And it still hasn't showed up. Now that was about 2 weeks ago. And so she had to file a whole report, all that good stuff. And I've had this issue with my business as well. Misfit Activewear, I told y'all I have a brand, and I ship, whether it's sports bras, jackets, yoga pants, and then I have some accessories, yoga mats, things like that. So I typically use USPS 2 as my default. I've had to switch to UPS. Because obviously it's more reliable. It's more expensive, but things have been getting lost. And so as the business owner, you take the hit if, the postal service loses something. You can file a claim, and If you put insurance on it, then typically you'll get reimbursed. But if you didn't really put any significant insurance on there, you out of luck. And so they lost my dress. The designer actually had to make another one and then ship me out another one. This time she used FedEx and it was able to get to me in 2 days. So I just got it in the mail. I can't wait to open it. And so if all goes well and I'm able to get one other piece that I ordered, then we can finally do our pictures this weekend. And I cannot wait because everyone is like, wait, people don't know yet? Y'all haven't announced it yet? You're 21 weeks and y'all haven't made a social media announcement. I'm like, no, family and friends all know. I still haven't told my job, but I did tell a couple of my coworkers. So I got to go through the HR process soon and inform all of them. I haven't told my school administration either. I got to go through that process because I have to request accommodations when it comes time for finals and all that. So I got some work to do. I feel like I need to just make this announcement publicly and then I'll be comfortable making everyone aware at the same time. And then it's not a secret anymore. And it's just something that I can just freely talk about. And I'm at the point, I think we talked about that psychologically, where you feel like you don't want to say anything too early because always the what if factor. And so, I think I'm beyond that point. I feel very confident in this pregnancy and I thank God for this baby who's going to be born healthy and just fabulous like my other two. With nothing missing, nothing broken, all 10 fingers, all 10 toes in the name. And so I'm ready to make it a public announcement, even though I'm not really showing still. I will show soon. I will pop and then people will notice. And so even though that might be the 6-month mark, I want to be able to have made the announcement before then. So you guys will see as soon as we do those photos. I am hoping to have some pictures to show you guys next week. So I can't wait to see you then. Thank you for joining me on week 21 of my 40-year-old pregnancy journey. I can't wait to see you next week. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and comment and like. Again, I'd love to hear from you. Take care, mamas and mamas to be.